World 9-ball title. In fact, the first two stagings of the championship. In 1990 and again in 1991, Earl Strickland, back-to-back winner. First in Bergheim in Germany, then in Las Vegas. We know that Shane Van Boening is capable of emulating what Strickland did. But of course, it is such a powerful field here, it would take some doing.
Rack number 1, Mr. Yoshioka to break.
37-year-old from Kyoto, Masato Yoshioka. I think it's fair to say, Carl, this would be the biggest win of his life if he were to get the verdict here.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. It's going to be a tall order, but he's capable. He knows the game. You always feel like the start of any match is key in any sport, really, but definitely in 9-ball pool, because momentum and confidence, them difficult shots that you face with later on in a match seem easier when you're winning easy, so it's key to try and stay with the opponent, worst case scenario. Decent shot, use that 2-ball to keep the 1 on the top rail. A little bit fortunate that the 2's come round and hooked Shane, but it's just one of them things that can happen.
Regular viewers of these big Matchroom pool events will have seen Yoshioka on the main table before, taking on the likes of Joshua Filler and Ko Pin Yi. And what we gain from those matches, he's more than capable. And the effective safety has yielded the first chance.
That's what SVB does very well when he's hooked and stuff like that. He always makes sure he hits the ball. He makes his opponent come and play a shot, worst case. This instance, Masato's played a good shot there. He's got a shot on the 2 now, the blue 2. Shot coming up. He's going to play for a combo. He's having a look at the pot as well, so he's got options here. It would be far easier to get the cue ball back down the right hand side of the table for the pink 4 onto 9 combo. That would be an early win if you're tuning into 9-ball for the first ever time. As long as you're at the lowest ball on the table first, if another ball goes in, you stay at the table, but if the 9 goes in, you win the rack. That's what he's playing. He's playing for this combo.
You would think the percentage is heavily in his favour, especially after that excellent camera shot right down the barrel. Masato Yoshioka has taken the first rack from the defending world 9-ball champion, Shane Van Boening. Well, he didn't do an awful lot incorrect there, but in escaping the hook, he left a ball on, and Yoshioka did the rest. There's been a real history, you know, of Japanese success in the World 9-ball Championship. 1994 in Chicago. Takeshi Okamura won that one in an all-Japanese final as well, by the way. Then in Chinese Taipei in 1998, Kunihiko Takahashi was the champion, overcoming Johnny Archer. And then finally in 2011, Yukio Akagariyama. He defeated Ronnie Alcano from the Philippines 13-11 to capture the title. So 3 Japanese World 9-ball champions in that roll of honour. Van Boening, been there, seen it, not particularly bothered by the loss of 1 rack. He must be feeling very tired. Arduous journey here from southern Indiana, where they played the Derby City Classic, and he was involved in the 9-ball final. He was basically awake for 24 hours.
Our current score is 1-0 in favor of Mr. Yoshioka. Mr. Yoshioka to break.
The Derby City Classic final was supposed to finish on Saturday night. Because there were over 500 entries, it actually finished as Yoshioka pots the 1 ball into the top corner. It actually finished at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. Van Boening losing in the final to Fedor Gorst, who won the Master of the Table, because he also won the Banks Pool Division. But what a grueler that was, Carl. You've been involved in that kind of thing.
Well, not 24 hours, Phil. Might have been asleep for 24 hours. I don't know about playing.
Well, they reckon that Fedor Gorst, from when he started that last day to when he lifted the trophy, was awake for 28 hours solid.
Well, we don't have to worry about things like that this week. The schedule is set. Yoshioka's going airborne. He's got the short stick. Said he likes to attack the table. Trying to cut this 2 in the pocket. He's got to watch the scratch as well up in the top right. Well, that was very close indeed.
You said in your interview with Rachel right at the top of the programme, in any pool tournament you need luck. And that was, as you say, the epitome of good fortune.
Kicking 2 rails. Or is he going 1? He's going 1. Again, he makes a contact, but he's going to leave Masato a shot at this 2. And I'm not saying it's worrying signs at the minute because it's early days, but this is just the start Masato wanted.
Got to the last 32 of the championship last year when he was also tied 5th in the Asian Open in Singapore, where you were, Carl. That's tough company, so to be 5th there underlines how good he can be.
Yeah, he uses a longer cue, a little bit like Shane. A lot of the players have started to do that in the modern era. They put the extension on the bottom of the cue, and some of the cues are 60, 64, 68 inches long. The legend Earl Pearl. Strickland started that. SVB has seen all this though. This is the game of pool. This is what it can do. This is the art of being a champion, being a winner. It's not all going to go your way every match. You've got to come through close matches. You're going to win matches where you've been down. And you're going to win 9-0, 9-1. So you're going to taste it all if you're going to pick up this trophy. From this angle, it looks like there is an 8-9 combo, but where he's landed now, he'll probably just play a stop shot and play the 8 into the open pocket, the bottom right pocket, that is. Yeah, he can't really get on the great line, I think. That's why he stood back up. He's okay, he's a little near the rail. He'd like this to bounce off. Yeah, it's come off not too bad. A little bit closer would have made this a formality.
was about to say, in terms of potting, that's his first real test. And it was flunked spectacularly.
The lights, the cameras have not helped him there. If that was on an outside table, he'll have potted that 8 and the 9, and he would have been 2-0 up. SVB's jacked up though, this can go wrong. He'll be happy with that, where the cue ball's finished.
You know, in any cue sport, turning points can happen at any point in any match, and we might well have seen the turning point there. It's 1-1. Now, talk about really hard first round draws. What about this? Alexander Kazakis, former world pool masters champion, who whitewashed Shane Van Boening to win that title in Gibraltar, up against Eric Horleifsen from Canada, who's a fine player in his own right. But it's Kazakis off to the expected start. The Greek number 1, looking good. And there is Mark Bajtabosh. You know, his name is perfect for his break-off. Bajtabosh. Give it some. He's got a massive break, and I think that will serve him well this week. Do you like that, Carl?
I loved it, yeah. Give him a good old Bajtabosh.
So then, Shane Van Boening was on the verge of falling 2-0 in arrears, and then Yoshioka made a real mess of the 8 ball. 1-1, and you get the feeling that now he's embedded in the match. That
Rack
man
number
could
3,
have
we are currently
a
all
few
tied
problems.
at 1 game apiece. Mr. Van Boening to break.
Good break from Shane there. Cue ball. Oh, did he get kicked? Yeah, he got kicked off the 9. Just hit the 9 a little bit too low. You can see a piece of this blue too. It's the lowest ball on the table. Actually looks like he can pot this into the top right-hand corner. Yeah, well done. Good shot.
And when you follow a powerful break with a shot like that, more often than not, the table really opens up, and it certainly has in this instance.
Decided to leave this shot a little longer. Wasn't concerned about getting closer, so obviously feels good. Cue ball's going to come around the table, maybe 3 or 4 rails. Yeah, good shot.
Such a major figure in the world of pool. Recently, CBS, the famed 60 Minutes program, did an insert on pool, which was really illuminating, and of course, Shane starred, spreading the gospel, lifting the trophies. And now going in front. He could have been 2-0 behind quite easily. As it is, Shane Van Boening, the defending champion here in Kielce, leads by 2 racks to 1. Crowds have been terrific.
Mr.
And a
Van
lot of them
Boening
have
break.
turned up to see this man, all the way from the good old USA. Shane Van Boening.
Yeah, he's really crunching the brake. And the cue ball is coming off the side and trying to hit the 9 full. It's just hit it a tiny bit low. That's why the cue ball's found this little section of the table on his previous 2 breaks. But he does have a shot on the 2 ball. That is all that matters. Shane is the type of player who can really put a package together in these winner breaks. 4 and 5 racks for SVB are no problem. Looking around the arena, Phil, obviously there's a lot of Polish players playing on outer tables, and you can see there's pockets of little bits of crowd, and this arena is all about getting yourself a drink and getting yourself out there. Phil, have you had a little wander?
I did indeed, yeah. I went a little late this afternoon. Some of the tables were winding down, so it wasn't a full complement of 16, but yeah, one of the great pleasures, isn't it? Not just here, of course, at all of the Matchroom Open events. We've got the European Open, the UK Open coming up this year, the US Open in Atlantic City. It's basically never-ending pool, and there's never a moment where you think nothing's occurring. There's always something going on. In fact, at times there's an embarrassment of riches. There's too much. You can't quite digest it all. So this rack, almost identical to the one that preceded it, i.e. good break from Shane Van Boening. A cracking 2 ball to open the lock, and then barging through. And how expensive will that missed 8 ball from Yoshioka in rack 2 turn out to be? On this evidence, Carl, I think it's going to be extremely expensive. Van Boening breaking and running consecutive racks. He now leads by 3 to 1. The winner of this, by the way, will take on Mats Shetner or Jakob Connier in the next round. The Norwegian Shetner is 2-1 up at the moment over the Slovakian. There's a proud Polish player just knocking in the 9 ball, totally in command. Viktor Zielinski, mark that name.
Yeah, he's tipped as the #1 player from Poland. He's the highest ranked Polish player on the 9 ball rankings. He's actually very good to watch and all because he plays very quick, and often, you know, when you watch a sport or a game, you know, the faster players, the more natural players seem to be the ones that are adored by the crowd, and Zielinski, he possesses that.
Another authentic young prospect, Aloho Sum from Hong Kong.
Track number 5.
He's entered the fray this evening against Lars Kuchum
Mr. Van Boening
from Germany, and Aloho Sum leads 2-1 at the moment. Now the 1 ball didn't cooperate this time, stays on the table, but the 3 went in, and look how they are spaced, Cole.
Yeah, cue ball was flying round. That little nudge off the blue 2 has just set Shane up with a really nice look at this one. Needs to play a good shot off this blue 2 though, because he's going to need to find a good angle on the pink 4 just because of where the purple 5 is. If he's dead straight, yeah, he might risk drawing back in a straight line. I think the pink 4 may go in the centre as well. Obviously he's playing for the top. Oh, this looks good. There you can see he's got the perfect angle now. One's potting this ball. Can't fail to get on the 5.
One word to describe this from Yoshioka's perspective, at least: ominous. There you were, Carl, predicting that he could run several racks, and this will be 3 in the package so far. 4-1 very quickly. Shane Van Boening seizing command of the contest. Other interesting matches going on at the moment. Joshua Filler, another giant of this sport, not having things his own way against James Georgiadis from Australia. 3-2 Filler there. Alex Pagulayan, he's 2-1 up on Michael Schneider, and this is a match that's got a big crowd around the table. Mieszko Fortunski from Poland. They call him the Butcher. He's 1-1 at the moment with Emil Andre Gangflo from Norway. And Fortunski and the player we saw a while ago, Zielinski, are part of a group of world-class talents from Poland, and that's one of the reasons we're here, because they've got so many players at high level. That's the crunching break from Van Boening. Once more.
Well, the cue ball's flying around, but he always seems to have a shot. This is a bit more tricky because he can't really play a stop shot. He's got to get the cue ball moving back a little bit, otherwise he can't put the blue 2. He's really going to the cue ball here. Well, look where it's finished. He'll be happy with that.
I'm going to change my assessment. Before I said it was ominous for Yoshioka. I think it's very ominous now. Very ominous indeed. Although he was beaten in the final of the 9-ball division at the Derby City Classic, he did start that marathon week with a title. He won the Bigfoot 10-ball challenge. First prize of $16,000. Overcame a Polish player, Konrad Jerzusin, 11-7 in the final.
Was a better shot than it looked. See how he got the cue ball down the bottom end of the table to leave this nice angle for his next shot. So this is another rack chalked up, Phil. Another break and run.
You sensed it, Carl, didn't you, mentioning the propensity of Van Boening to put together these packages. Oh, as the hits the 7 ball a little askew. One-way traffic. It's now all Shane Van Boening, 5-1 ahead. That means he's more than halfway to opening his title defence with a hefty victory. And talking about looking good,
number 7, our current score is 5-1.
That richly applies
Mr. Van Boening
to Shane
Mr.
Van Boening
to break.
Absolute crunch in the break, as always, and he's got a shot on the 3 ball. He's one of the few top players out there, Phil, who really tries to power the break. All the other top players maybe hit it about 70-80%. He really tries to throw the cue in, because his view is the more balls go down on the break, the less I've got to pot in the rack.
This rack looks like being rapido if he can get position from 4 to 6. There is a gap, and he has to be mindful. Look at those break-in runs. Actually, it's 4, not 3. It was 1-1, and ever since, Yoshioka has been warming his seat.
Yeah, this is for a 5-pack, and we said SVB's no stranger to a 5-pack.
You know, right at the start of the match, I said it's always a pleasure and a privilege to commentate on Shane Van Boening, especially when he's performing like this, because this isn't just winning pool, it is World Championship winning pool. If you're keeping your opponent away from the table entirely, there is absolutely nothing they can do. Yoshioka missed the 8 ball, hit it dead on when he needed to just cut it slightly. And from that moment, he's been, well, at least a non-paying spectator. Have you been on the receiving end of a Shane Van Boening onslaught like this, Carl?
Maybe not to this degree, no, obviously. I've played him, he's beat me, I've beat him, but, you know, this is the first round of the Worlds and you're on the main table, but Yoshioka did make that mistake, didn't he? He had the chance to go 2 up. Obviously, Shane's had a little bit of fortunate where some of the breaks have finished, but that is the game. This is what we're doing, and it's no stranger Shane's put a 5-pack together, because he's one of the few players in the venue who's capable of doing this. He's taking a look at this break. Watch how hard he's hitting the cut break. Look at the cue ball, it might be flying around the table, but he's decided he's going to sacrifice that. And he's got another shot on the lowest ball. Look where the 2's finished. Getting on the 3 is going to be really difficult, though. Let's have a look where the 3 finishes. Yeah, it doesn't go past the 7. Doesn't look like it goes in the side pocket, so he may have to play for a bank shot to keep this run going.
Spearheading the USA Challenge at the championship, as he has done for the last decade or so. Oh, and look at this. Look at this.
Well, if he can play that up into the top corner, he will do, but what a positional shot he's played there. To even try and draw that back in a straight line, it's absurd. The run is over. He'll be disappointed with that one. He would have loved to have run the set out. He'll be fuming, will the defending champ.
fuming, and considering he was in such fine stroke, I think he'll be surprised he missed that 3 ball and missed it by quite some way. Yoshioka will be full of pure relief to get back to the table.
Well, SVB sent a message out to the rest of the field. I've done a 5-pack. What can you do? This is a little tester. There's distance. Nicely done.
He's a renowned coach in Japan, is Yoshioka. Has to practice what he preaches to his pupils. Never give in. Always retain concentration. Never let that slip. And just keep chipping away.
He's done what he's needed to do. He's even playing a lefty. Can he capitalise on the SVB miss? Can he put his own little package together?
One mistake from Shane Van Boening, and it was punished in terms of losing the rack for the American. So 6-2. Yoshioka with now, I suppose, a glimmer of hope. And this was the ball that surprised everyone. Okay, there was only a small gap past that brown 7 ball, but you would assume if he was going to be put off by that, he might have undercut the 3, not overcut it. And so consequently, he goes back to his chair. That 5-rack burst of brilliance interrupted.
Yeah, he missed the 3, but what a beautiful positional shot Shane played to even give himself a look.
By the way, I was saying that Shane Van Boening is spearheading the American challenge here, even more so now because I'm afraid Skylar Woodward, the American number 2, isn't going to be playing. He went back home from the Derby City Classic to Lubbock, Texas. His internal flight from Lubbock to Dallas was unable to land. Consequently, couldn't get out of Dallas, couldn't fly here, and so Skylar Woodward will be sorely missed because I thought he and Shane Van Boening at the top end of the USA team sheet at the Moscone Cup played very well indeed.
Yeah, Skylar Woodward, that is a real shame because he looked like he was carrying a bit of form as well over the last few events.
The reason for the problems, a very unusual ice storm that's hit the Dallas area. I've had some very warm days in that part of Texas recently. Unusually warm for winter, but then Jack Frost bites.
Yoshioka could see enough of the 1 ball to play the plan, so he's not out of this match yet. Got to avoid bumping the 2. Oh, it's gone wrong. Can he play the bank into the side pocket? Possibly. Looks close. If not, he'll duck. He'll play the safe. never quite there. Sometimes your mind tries to tell you the shot's on when your instinct is telling you it's not.
And with Shane Van Boening back at the table looking good for this rack, it's also looking better for Joshua Filler on table 2, now 6-3 up on James Georgiadis from Australia.
Shane got the cue ball higher for this purple 5. There you can see you can just top this ball in. SVB sporting some very fancy shoes, I see, Phil. Have you got a pair of them?
Something similar for golf, but not for the arena. I'll tell you what though, I'd like to be in his shoes right now, 7-2 up, and only 2 racks away from launching the defence of his title in just the manner he would have wanted. Not just going nicely, but playing very good ball.
In favor of Mr. Van Boening. Mr. Van Boening to break.
Tell you what I did notice there, Phil, with Filler, he's using the carbon shaft. He never really used that. He was one of the few top players that stuck with the wooden shaft. Obviously carbon fibre shafts have come into the world in iron ball for the last 3 or 4 years, so Filler's
push out call,
playing with a different cue really.
As for Shane Van Boening, he wants a carbon copy of last year.
Mr. Yoshioka, your option?
Push for SVB. Surely he's got to put this one back. And he does. He gives this one back to Shane. Crossbank was on. Was the cue ball finished? Looks like he's going to be playing safe. Trying to find that gap near the 6, isn't he? And because he's hit the 6, he's not got the hook.
That's handed back the tactical initiative to Yoshioka. Plenty of balls to hide behind.
Well, he's got the hook. That's the first part done. Shane can easily hit this. He's going over to the right hand side because he's trying to pot it in the corner. It was close. Does the 2 past the red 3 in the corner. Well, you can see that it's very tight indeed. Yeah, it was horrible. It really was. Has he got lucky? He hasn't.
2 shots in this match where he's caught a pot too thick, too full. The 8 ball in the second rack, and now that admittedly much tougher pot. And it could quite easily be the beginning of the end. One result for you. James Georgiadis held Joshua Filler to 3-3, but then Filler won the next 6. He's come through 9-3.
Decided to play the bank because that offered easier position for this next ball.
And you know, Carl, the thing with Shane Van Boening, and you've alluded to this already this evening, even though he's got all of the shots, he's got a massive locker of spectacular shots, he just keeps things simple when he has to. Doesn't take any outlandish risk.
Unlike the one he's just took.
Yes.
And it's gone a little bit wrong, Phil. Right on cue, the commentators.
I know. As soon as I said it, I thought, oh. Yeah. But normally speaking, he doesn't push the boat out, does he, in terms of shot selection? He just keeps it as concise and sensible as possible.
Yeah, I think he's still okay here. It's a little bank shot. And it's a good job he's just come back from the Derby City Classic, where they host a bank pool tournament there, and clearly he's banking the ball very good indeed, because he's had to pull off a couple of good ones here, though that wasn't clean.
Yeah, he wobbled a similar 7 ball into that pocket earlier. Now, though, in a town surrounded by hills, Shane Van Boening is on the hill. He leads by 8 racks to 2. Meanwhile, Joshua Filler, we were mentioning the word spectacular. How about this to finish off?
More action on the
Golden break to get over the line. In she goes. Let's hear from the German superstar.
Josh, well done. Winning by 9 racks to 3. How did you play out there?
I played quite good. Missed 2-3 balls, but it was the first match on the new club. I just felt good actually. Played good and won 9-3, which is good as well.
Such a consistently good year for you in 2022. How much of that confidence have you brought into the new year?
Obviously, of course, I'm coming with a lot of confidence, but it's a new year with new tournaments, and you expect more to come, you know, with new goals. I just need to be, I think, more confident, play better than last year. Then I can become the new world champion. But, you know, it's a long way to get there, and if I have the right luck at the right time, then I might be the world champion.
You have been before, of course, but it's a very different event now, isn't it? And you must be itching to win this new style of the World Championship as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, with the new braking format, it's going to be tough because the brake is more tougher, especially under the gun. But as I said earlier, you need some luck, of course. If your opponent comes with a lot of brake and runs, it's going to be tough to come back. But you know, I'm confident if I get my brake working, I'll be dangerous.
Well, you're off and running. We'll see you in the next round. Well done, Josh.
Thank you.
rack number 11.
Our current score is 8-2.
That trademark smile. There are 3 players
on the hill.
here, 3 categories of players. The ones who want to win the title, the ones who think they can win the title, and the ones who know they can win the title. Filler's one, and the man who's just broken off is another. They know if they hit their peak and things go their way, they can be lifting the silverware come Sunday. Filler is in this game's elite, Carl, and of course so is Van Boening.
Yeah, Joshua Filler, phenomenal talent, arguably the greatest potter on the tour. Such a natural eye for the pot, and he works very hard at his game. He's been working hard at his safety game. He feels like that is the side of the game where he needs to sharpen up a little bit, but still very adept to that, of course. And obviously for this top tier player, they just know it's about coming through these first two matches to book their place in the final 64, and that's when they feel like the event starts for them. Needs to miss this four. Another great positional shot there from Shane. He missed one of these a little earlier. It was that red three over on the other side going up into the corner, so he's got a chance to redeem himself here. Spinning the cue ball back off a couple of rails.
Won't know his opponent in the next round for a while yet. Mats Shetner from Norway, 5-4 up on Jakob Connier in a much more closely contested affair than this. But here in Poland for Van Boening, it's first mission accomplished. The cornerstone of this success, 5 consecutive break-in run-outs. Shane Van Boening makes a really good start to his title defense. He defeats Masato Yoshioka comfortably and impressively by 9 racks to 2.